What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Make an Impact podcast with real stories, real people, and real impact. My name's Stephen Turnbull. I'm an entrepreneur, husband, and father on a mission to empower individuals to share their stories so they can make an impact on you. We're going to call this the Make an Impact Shop Talk today. We've got the Make an Impact crew, we'll call it, myself, as you well know. But we've been talking for how long about getting Mr. Michael Taft a camera and a mic, so we're rocking and rolling with this. We wanted to talk just about kind of what we've been having going on here, a little bit about what's going on in each of our businesses, and I will just start by saying publicly to the entire world, to all of our millions of viewers, that this show would not be possible if it wasn't for this gentleman right here. Mike and his team at CRO Jungle do all the engineering, all the editing. They do all the Photoshop to make me look pretty and all in between. But I really appreciate you being a great friend on this journey. I appreciate you putting all the work that you have, and it's been a fun ride so far. So Mr. Michael Taft, give it up, everybody. Mr. Michael Taft, how are you today?
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, my friend. What's going on?
Steve, you're too kind. Like the thing that's been amazing about this has been, we grew up together. We went our separate ways, did a lot of different things in the world, stayed in touch, came back. I moved back to the same area that you're in now, and you just invited me and my family in. And then we found that where we're going in our lives, man, it had a lot of overlap. So it's not
Super
just
cool.
CRO Jungle taking care of something or doing something. It's, first of all, shout out CRO Jungle team. Thank you. You all make this amazing and possible.
100%.
But also, Steve, you, your team, your network, your friends, all of the people that you've introduced me to have invited me in. I just can't thank you enough.
It's been a fun project. I think we've told the story maybe in like some clips, but I don't know how much we put out. But we were in the podcast at 600 French Road at the network, and we partnered with Bill Madison and Matt Wilson on this. The three of us were trying to kind of figure it out. And then I was like, hang on a second. I know who the fourth guy needs to be. And we brought in the one and only Mr. Michael Taft, and it's been cool. We've really just started hitting the ground now with obviously our show. We're 17, 16 episodes, but with bringing people in to deliver content, to have their own shows, to do all those, and it's been a fun ride. I mean, we've learned a lot.
It's been awesome.
We've learned a ton.
Learned a lot.
And but it's been cool. It's been cool to just sit down and chop it up.
Totally agree. And yeah, Matt and Bill are awesome partners to work with too.
100%.
It's been great.
100%. Talk to me about what's up in Mike Taft's world. In under 3 hours.
How about the biggest thing, and you mentioned it the other day, was biggest thing in my life right now is my wife is pregnant. This is our first child. Been praying for this for a long time.
Shout out, baby Taft.
Very, very thankful. So, dude, I just can't wait.
So incredible.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Next generation's coming through.
That's right. It's so cool.
That's been the center of my world. And then so many great things between working on a lot of this project, building out CRO Jungle as a company, building out Memorabl as a company. I have a great CEO over there, Sarah, who's just made it all possible. I have this team that we've created kind of as an independent team, and more to come on that, through the next few months. But there's another guy, Vinny Parada, who's just stuck with me on all these ventures. And when I need a job that's just, whether it's not delightful to get into, and sometimes it's just a pain, he gets in, he systemizes it for me. And so I just have great people around. And those have been the big projects going through between Memorabl, CRO Jungle, and this pod project.
Have you always realized that with the different ventures of entrepreneurship, it's about the people? I mean, you had to learn your way to that, because I think we have a lot of people that sit down in your chair and we talk about these conversations, and I think the first reaction is always like, how am I going to pull this off? Like, I got a good idea, man. How am I going to pull this off? But you're 100% right. It's not, and like, let's use me for an example. It was me for the first 8 months,
Yeah.
But 3.5 years removed, it wouldn't be where it is today, and it wouldn't be me if it wasn't for the team I have now. Shout out the T5 team, who does an incredible job each and every day. But I think that's something you got to learn, and that's hard to, where am I trying to land this plane? It's hard to have the mindset of like, who's going to help me accomplish this versus how am I going to do that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's my understanding of what a team is now is so much different. And I grew up playing exclusively team sports. I love team sports, more about the camaraderie of the team and how the people work than the sports themselves.
It's a good parallel.
But what I've learned now is it's a lot different when you own the organization, that type of leadership versus being the captain of a team. Like, you forget when you're growing up, you might be the captain of a sports team or something. There's still a coach, there's an owner, there's an organization, there's admins, trainers, all these other people outside of the players that you are really responsible for guiding.
Yeah.
Being in that position, it has made me rely so heavily on people in a way that former leadership just didn't require.
Sure. Yeah.
And I love it. There are people that I'm seeing in the same way. They say to me, Mike, I've never seen you be more of you than you are right now. And these are people who have known me a long time. And it feels amazing to watch that start to be mutual, where I see my teammates start operating and their personalities come out. And I'm like, this is you.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to see someone open up and they're like, I love this. Like, I can tell.
Yeah.
And you are great at it. Keep going.
Here's the key to that you don't realize until you figure it out and learn. The key is not filling a role. And I feel like even at 3 people, I have experience in this. The key is not filling a role. It's finding the right person and finding the right seat on the bus.
Yes.
If you find, I had coffee with somebody yesterday. I'll just leave it at that. And I left the meeting like, I have to find a way that individual is on our team some point.
Yeah.
Because they're just a good human being. I have no idea in what capacity that'll be and when the timeline would be on that. But I just left the conversation like, that's the type of person that I want to be a teammate with and have on our bus to go to the destination together. And I think sometimes entrepreneurs, owners, leaders can mistakenly look for a job and I'm trying to fill this role. Okay. So Mike, you don't have the qualifications of this role. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Bob does. But Bob's a really bad teammate. But Mike's a really good teammate. So maybe Mike's a better fit for the organization in a different seat, right? Or maybe that's you have to do some training up and that's the good seat for him. But I think if you view it that way of like, who do I want on the bus to help us get to where we are trying to go? And once they're on the bus, you can find their seat. Talk to me about that.
This has been just the journey of my last 36 months doing this has been, do I design the structure first?
Yeah.
Or do I find the people first? And there's all these books and all these different ideas about what to do, which to do first, how to do it. I keep finding that this advice that my business partner in CRO Jungle, or one of my business partners there, his name is Junaid. And Junaid is an awesome business partner. He's also become a great friend. And mind you, I met this guy on the other side of the world through a Zoom chat in Pakistan. It's just awesome. And now, actually pretty cool, we may be opening a new hub in the UAE, which is pretty awesome. So right in Dubai. But what he said to me was, Mike, you bring in great people, but you need to think about bringing in people that will open doors both for you, for us, for the company, but not just open them, people that can open those doors and know how to engage in the room that they just opened up. And I went, oh man, that's so right. Because I kept finding, and I've just been surrounded, this is a massive blessing, surrounded by people that are amazing, do things that I cannot do, will never do. But what I found was like, okay, that seat on the bus idea is there's also like, and which timed bus are you taking? Because sometimes someone that might be better off on like the trip back or a different destination, sometimes that's where their seat is. And right now, I don't have a spot that it fits in yet.
Yeah.
They're going to come into play down the road.
Yeah.
That's been really helpful to learn because now I'm like, great, what do I have in front of me? This, who can do it that I know? Great, I'm on the phone with them within 10 minutes. Can you do this? How can we make this work where it's good for you? You want to do it. And you'd be so surprised how many people go, I'll do that. This is what I'm looking for.
Here's what it boils down to. We talked about this 4 or 5 episodes ago with, I can't remember who. Find people that are willing to be the CEO of their desk.
Yes.
Find people who are willing to be the CEO of their desk. That's what that boils down to. That's how you get the buy-in, you know? And I think about the last week's episode or whenever it was aired with Brandon and how he talked about, I've always acted like the business is mine, no matter if it is or not. Like those are the people that you need to get bought into your culture that are going to truly change and head towards the mission. We can talk about this topic for 8.5 hours probably and just hit
Let's
10% of it. Talk to us about CRO Jungle. So talk to us in general for somebody listening to this that has never met Mike Taft and has no idea what CRO Jungle does. What do you guys do?
Yeah, CRO Jungle has evolved into a company that really just fits what companies need and meets them where they are. Most people are not familiar with how Fortune 500 marketing works, but how it works is that most of these companies have big marketing teams, and they don't do it all themselves. They're the home squad doing a lot of the planning. But then when they're going to go do a new campaign or a new massive project, they need more people on the field. So just like a smaller business might go to Fiverr or Upwork, there are these online platforms that really are just placements for really excellent marketing teams. I happened to come into contact with one of those teams a few years back with a different company and just got along really well with the owner. And so there's a waiting period that you have to have because if you join partnership within a certain amount of time, you breach contract. So we wait that out. And after that, I get a call that we were just, hey, you want to chat? You want to talk? Well, within a month, we were business partners. And really what it boils down to is I bought into a marketing company that produces Fortune 500 marketing, kind of like mercenaries. And it turns out the middleman that these Fortune 500s use takes an 80% profit cut. They're taking an 80% margin. So I was like, hey, should we just... And he was like, yep, let's bring it direct to market. So now we go around and we sell 2 major things. We sell Fortune 500 level marketing to an individual company that needs it. We sell it to Fortune 500s. We sell it to medium-sized companies. And now we've even developed products to be able to take just the most important pieces and make it affordable for small companies. And on the other side, there are marketing agencies. And people go, oh, well, that sounds like you. No, we're much more of a... When you have a specific business goal you've got to hit, we've got all the tools to do it. We're a team of entrepreneurs. But marketing agencies are great. So how we work with them is they already have clients. They've got great trustworthiness. They have good relationships. We just go in and we say, listen, technology's moved really fast. You try and keep up with it, you're going to spend a lot of money. That works for our business model. Don't worry about it for yours. So we can give them both technology and talent to keep them up to date. It decreases their overall overhead costs. It can help them reach new levels of what they can produce for their clients. And it overall builds more robust businesses for them. So marketing direct to companies almost of any size, but really for the Fortune 500 quality level. And then providing services direct on the fulfillment side for marketing agencies.
Here's what I'm curious of. From your standpoint, you've had you've been in a lot of different buckets over the last couple of years, which is a different conversation and a different podcast. But you weren't always in the marketing world.
I was not.
You were not always playing the marketing game. Like you just said and told us, introduced to us to how you met this guy, how you guys partnered, and what your deliverables are. Now that you're 100% in the marketing world with CRO Jungle and hitting the ground running with this, and the conversations that you're having with prospects and new clients and people that you're onboarding, what has shocked you the most? And let me rephrase this because you can answer that 5 different ways.
Yes.
I want you to answer it in the sense of like Mike. What has shocked Mike the most about the journey so far?
What's shocked me about the journey so far in my own life has been what the story has turned out to be. When you're 20, you have all these chapters that you think you've got written and you have to live up to. Now at 31, I have been so blown away about the chapters that God had in store for me that I just never imagined. My story started in software development, doing cybersecurity work at like 16 for the Air Force Research Labs. Then I went into business. I literally, Steve, I watched The Big Short, the movie, wrote down all the names, and then just applied to them because I didn't know what to do.
Sure.
Then went in, ended up, it sounds funny, but that's it.
Yeah.
And I ended up working at the time, the largest hedge fund in the world and one of the most aggressive places on earth to work. It just taught me so much about people. And one day I looked around and I didn't dislike anyone. I just went, this isn't me. This is not it. I know this isn't my story. And that intertwines deeply with where I am now of like the cover of my book, I hope, is Father and Faith-Led Entrepreneur. By the time I'm done, if that's on the cover, I will be so thankful. And father, of course, comes hand in hand with husband. So where I see it now is like, I went from software development to finance to starting software companies to flipping software companies to now basically having this network of companies that are all boosted by this, what you call a marketing agency. In my mind, it's really like an entrepreneurial growth hub. And I just plug it into all these companies and they grow. And I watch people in it grow. So the biggest surprise for me has been, number one, that my number one heading is husband and father, how much that's changed my life, how much faith has changed my life, and then how the amazing chapters have unfolded that I could have never dreamed of writing.
So boil it down in simple terms for us of, if I'm listening to this and I'm a business owner or I'm listening to it and knowing a business owner, whatever, how does CRO help?
CRO Jungle helps because if you have a very specific metric in your business that you're trying to achieve, we just have the tools and the talent to achieve it. That's simple. You want more sales? We know how to do it. Not we're guessing. We know because we've done it 100 times. You want more leads? We know how to do it. Even if you want just a better feel, someone goes, I don't know how to put this into words, but whenever I see my company out there, it doesn't feel how I want it to feel. No problem. We know how to do that too. That's simple.
Tell us some success stories so far.
Yeah, we've done on the bigger side, we took, I think it was 12 potential products for Kraft Heinz, did all of the research to narrow it down to the one winning product, then took that product, built an app out of it end to end, like so full development on our side, full UI UX, full marketing, full design, then did the marketing to release it. It's got hundreds of thousands of downloads. I think it's well over 4.8 stars. Just fantastic for them. That's a big tier project. But then there are others where we have a plumbing business that is a friend of a friend. And he's like, look, Mike, I want to grow. I want to be $100 million plumbing company. Now, some people laugh at that. I'm like, great. What are you doing for it? And he was putting his skin out there on the line all day. I said, all right, I'll work with this. And it was a smaller client. And I say was, and that's the exciting part. This is a real story, and I'm not saying we could ever replicate this. It may have been the perfect storm, but it's real. The first 3 months, whenever you do this, you make like no money. You might get your money back in the marketing stuff, but the main thing that you're doing is you're building a new machine to bring you sales. He looks at me at the end of month 3. He's like, Mike, I'm on for the ride, but this is the most I've ever spent in marketing on a monthly basis. I'm terrified. I said, yeah, I've been there. You got to trust us because we've been there.
Yeah.
Next month goes by. Goes up to, I think it was an 8 or a 10 to 1 on how much money he put into the machine. Got $8 or $10 back. Month 2 after that, goes up again, gets like a 15 or 20 to 1 or something like that. And for people that are in marketing that know this, they're going to be like, that's insane. Because usually you're trying to hit 10 to 1. That's amazing if you can do that.
Right.
Last month, he hit 71 to 1. That is ridiculous. And that's where I'm going. I never want someone to listen to this and go,
that's going to happen.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
70 to 1. It changed the business in 6 months.
Yeah.
So now the conversations with him are not, hey, how can I get leads? It's, hey, which lead channel is going to be best to grow more because we've maxed some of them out
Sure.
in that area.
Yeah. Two things on that. You answered one of my question about just trusting the process, but the next thing is talk to us about in the marketing world, trial and error, right? Because there is no magic wand, and I will push back on you in a sense of, I was just pushing back and I'm going to stop and remember what it was because I'm not giving that up. Oh, we know how to do it. All of that is fantastic. That's great. 100%. I know that because I've worked with you very closely. Talk to people though about the trial and error, because that is part of trusting the process. That's part of this plumber coming to you at month 3 and saying, Mike, what are we doing? Like I'm on for the ride. I get it. I trust you. I understand. But that's why you hire someone like you for marketing. That's why you hire someone like me for insurance. You don't understand. You're not expert in every lane. So talk to us about those people that don't understand that side of the beginning stages of starting.
I love that question. When you are just starting your marketing and you're thinking, what's the difference and where's the line between guess and check, trial and error, and when you really should expect to see strategy-led results, the main line comes between whether you had a plan starting out of how you were going to go from what things you were trial and erroring on to what things you weren't. Those were not going to move. They're standard things that you already know about your market. And once you've tried everything, if all you got was, hey, it didn't work, you need to stop and reset. What CRO Jungle does when I say we know we've been there, our version of trial and error, that first 3 months is not really blind trial and error. It's saying, hey, we do massive research. Like I know every single word that has been Googled in your area and all of your target markets in the last 36 months. I know how often, where it came from, why. Then I've got other tools that help me see where those visitors have gone and why they've gone there, how long they've spent there. There's just a massive amount of data that helps me go, okay, what I have to guess and check on is like, there's 3 major lanes of 2,000 people, 15,000 people, and 10,000 people. Which one's going to be the best buyer for you? And I've got to work with the tools I have. Our large connections for ads, like you're working with big tech companies. If Google throws you, a huge curveball because their software is just messing up, we've got to work around that. We know how to, but when it works really well, of course you get a boost. So the trial and error phase is, you do have to take 3 months, build all of these things you're taking a bet on, not a sure shot, and pick a lane and drive it for long enough for it to work. But you need to know the metrics that tell you whether you're guessing and checking and seeing success or whether you're just closing your eyes and throwing your money at a wall.
Yeah. I gotta find a pen because I'm needing to write down notes of things I want to ask you. One thing I want to talk to you about, and there's my note. One thing I want to talk to you about is talk to the do-it-yourselfers.
Yes.
That you encounter. One thing I realized real quick in my entrepreneur journey is it's very important to not think that you can do everything yourself. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. Whatever your craft is, marketing, running the books, tax planning, hiring, HR, all of these things. I want to be the best insurance agency owner in the world, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a marketer. I'm not an accountant, a bookkeeper. You can do all of those things subpar, but you're not going to do your trade and what you do the best that you possibly can. Be the best in your area, the best in your state, the best in the country if you're focusing on checking your QuickBooks at 4:30 every day to make sure things are good. If you're focusing on looking at your Facebook ads that you're putting out and doing yourself. In your lane, talk to us about that experience for those that might be listening of the do-it-yourselfers versus finding a trusted person, like you said, that knows what you're doing, has worked with people that do it, work with people in similar industries, whatever it might be.
You ever heard the phrase, time and pressure make a diamond? It's not time and pressure. It's nonstop pressure and continuous time. The difference between time and pressure versus continuous time and nonstop pressure means if you want to be the diamond of insurance, then you can't take your pressure off of being the best at insurance. Mm-hmm. And every time that you take a time break, if you want to be a diamond, that opportunity goes away. Mm-hmm. Every time that you go from focusing your pressure and your time spent on being the best insurance owner in the world, whether that's spent in marketing, whether that's spent in accounting, you're losing that opportunity to be a diamond. And how I see that now is very different than how I saw it when I was a DIYer. I DIY'd everything because I read all these entrepreneurial books. And by the way, you can come fight me on any of these things, you know, best entrepreneurs in the world, verbally, not physically.
PG-13 show. Thank you.
PG-13 show. But come debate me on it. All these books say do everything yourself. Bootstrap means $0 out. Do everything. Make the Canva, you know, designs yourself. I did that. Do you know how bad they looked? Do you know what I needed to sell one of my first companies? I needed a demo video that right now I could hire somebody at CRO Jungle to do for $1,000. And instead, I spent 12 months trying other things that I knew how to do unsuccessfully because what I needed was a really good demo video for $1,000. And I believed so heavily in this message that I could do it. And yeah, what I missed out on was I can do it poorly.
Can I push back on you?
Please.
Thank you, because I was going to anyways. I think there's a caveat there, okay? And the caveat is if you're starting the business, maybe you don't have the money to hire a Mike Taft. If you're starting the business, maybe you don't have the money to hire a bookkeeper day one. Coming back on your side, my point is find that thing and focus on that thing and polish that thing until you have the resources to pour it into marketing. Let's put Stephen Turnbull in the hot seat, okay? When I started T5 Insurance, my goal was what? Policy sold. Still is the goal every day. But now I have more resources and more revenue from the business being older and more clients on the book and all these to focus on marketing, to focus on hiring somebody to do my books, which we just left Universal Bookkeepers ribbon cutting, which was amazing. Justin, yes, shout out to you and Beth for 10 years. That's incredible.
Congratulations.
But I think there's a caveat there, and I'm not saying you were diminishing my point. I just wanted to make it clear that if you are in the beginning stages where I have $10,000 to start this business, you're not going to be able to sign up for this big marketing plan that might be several $1,000s a month to invest in getting this many leads, right? But do what you have to do to get to that next stage. And here's the thing that I overlooked from starting the business. There's seasons of life and there's seasons of business. And Alex Hormozi had a podcast the other day where he talked about business is in 3-year seasons. And guess who just hit their 3rd year a couple months ago, and it slapped me right across the face. And if you think about it, my challenges, my roadblocks, my struggles that are today are not even close to the same premise or summary or story of what they were 3 years ago when I started, right? They're different problems that I need different resources to solve in order to solve them. Do you agree with me on that?
I 100% agree, which is funny because what I said before is I needed $1,000 spend, right? Here's the difference. Meaning the difference between what I was saying and why I can agree with you entirely is DIY is misunderstood. DIY, most people, or at least I have seen most people take, and I took it to be, not do it yourself. It was D-I-E-Y. Do it, or sorry, not D-I-E. D-I-A-Y. Do it all yourself. It's not. You can't. No. And it's not valuable.
No.
What's the number one thing that you need if you're starting a business?
Money.
Sales. Exactly.
Money.
You need money. People go, well, you need a great product. Steve Jobs. You go, no. Do you know who built the first product? Woz. The product was already there. They needed sales.
The key in what you said is, okay, do D-I-E, what did he say?
D-I-A-Y.
Yeah, A-Y.
Yeah.
See,
I was going to say everything is,
but
yeah.
all yourself. So that point, in me pushing back on you in that sense is, at that point, maybe marketing's not something you can focus on right now. So don't focus on it, but focus 100% in revenue.
Yes.
And getting new customers.
Exactly.
And when you get to that stage, that's when Mike and his team come in. Because again, we talked about the trial. You have to be ready for that.
Yes.
right? I'll put myself in the hot seat again because I love doing that.
Do
It's
it.
getting nice and warm. We have built a great business over the last 3.5 years, 100% referral base.
Yes,
Okay.
you have.
My friend Sean, that you know very well, does very well with lead generation, and he's playing in the meta space. And that's a whole conversation because I know I can get you going. I don't want to get you going or we'll be here all night. But it's something I'm very interested in because it's still the way you can set it up. It's a still warm referral type deal because they're clicking on the ad, they're coming into you, they're wanting your product and service. That's what we all want as business owners, right? People that want our product or service. Great. I have not done that because I'm not ready for it. And I know that. The team that we have right now, we're so busy with inbound referrals, we can't barely keep up with that. Why the hell would I try to focus on that when I'm not going to be successful? Is it in the back of my mind? 100%. But and am I planning out a timeline of when I'm ready to pull the trigger and when I'm ready to hire somebody to handle that and all that? Absolutely. But what a disservice I'd be doing to myself, my team, and the business to say, hey guys, we're doing great with this. We're going to bring this on. And then guess what's going to happen, Mike? We're going to do both half-ass. We're going to do both half-ass. And that was my point of saying, focus on, you can't chase two rabbits through the woods or in a field.
I like that.
You can't.
That's
You
right.
cannot chase two rabbits at the same time. And if the rabbit's moving quick and that's what you're going after, you have to focus on that, polish that, turn that into a diamond, and then focus on the next thing. And in our examples, that's having the ability to have the resources, the time, the team, insert everything else here to be able to be an expert in that. I rest my case.
You want to laugh? Guess what one of the first 5 questions I ask every business that wants to work with us is?
Please.
If we brought you the number of leads that you're asking us for, how would you handle them?
I don't know. It's probably 90% of the answer.
90%. And you remember when I said, hey, you call me a marketing agency, I look at this as more of like a special team that hits a particular metric. That's how I know the metric you're asking for isn't right. Because what that tells me is, hey, you're telling me you need leads. I hear you saying, I don't really have my operations in the place yet to handle those things. Why would I put my team in a position where you're paying us so that I could make the position your business is in worse?
Because guess whose fault it's going to be then?
Exactly.
And then that's the problem. Nobody looks in and says, I'm not ready for this. I'm going to be ready for this. I'm going to prepare for this. But the people that try new things, often if it doesn't work, it's not the other person's fault. It's yours.
Yes. But you know what we got really great advice on was that, Mike, you're not arrogant for sharing your expertise if you're actually an expert. And I feared that forever. I would just shut up. I'd go, okay, we'll get you leads. We'll
Here's
do
the
this.
arrogance part, though. Here's the balance with that, and then we got to move on to the next
Go
topic
for
because
it.
we're rocking as I knew we would. The arrogance part is a balance between, and I'm talking about you and your side, telling the truth.
Yes.
And there's well, this is a good pivot on a T5 actually, but there's a difference between trying to sell a product and service and trying to tell the truth to the client and the prospect because you know that you're going to set them up for failure, right? If your first question is how are you going to handle these and there's no response, that's an opportunity to say, Mr. Smith, I don't think it's a time for us to work together because this is the deliverable I know I can get you, but what I want you to do is go back and for the next 2 months, focus on how you're going to do this and then come back to us and we'll be ready to rock. What do we do inside of our walls? We tell people the truth. If you don't have this coverage, this is not going to be covered. And that's going to potentially erupt your life and change your life because you're not covered properly. What can I do? I could sell a base policy and get the sale and be happy. And versus, no, you need this and this is why. And that's what we do very well. And that's what every business can do very well in their own regard. But that's the difference. That's the difference right there. Being the trusted advisor, educating people on what they need versus just making the sale.
What's your theme? You always say it.
Understand, educate, protect.
Oh no, I know the T5 theme. I think it's you do it right and
There's 2 things in life and business you
Yeah.
need to do. There's 2 things in life and business you need to do. Do your job and do the right thing.
exactly.
That's it. That's it. Do your job and do the right thing. Call the people back. Answer the goddamn phone.
Do your job.
It's my show. Okay. Answer the goddamn phone. Okay.
PG-13.
Do your job and do the right thing. And when you have the opportunity to work with that person, do the right thing. Tell them if you're not going to be a good fit and why that's going to be. Give them the best product or service because you know what the best thing is to do.
Yes.
And it'll all come back around. And I only know that in my short 9.5 years of working in the big, crazy world, which we talked about in other podcasts, and we will save that for the next shop talk. But that's good stuff.
That is great stuff. I have one more thought on that. I've had the exact conversation that you talked about. And the thing that I think is cool that I've found in similarities between the business ventures you're in and the business ventures I'm in is when someone needs something, the real talent and the thing that I've found of the people I want to work with is the people that can listen to what you're saying, categorize it with their experience, and still, without arrogance, say back to you the blunt version. Steve, what you're asking me for right now is not something I'm willing to give you. It would benefit my pockets, but it wouldn't benefit what my goal is for our company. And I don't mean growth. I mean, my goal is never to destroy a business, and doing that will destroy yours. But what I do want is to be your partner as you go and you take your responsibilities, you get yourself to a spot where these things work, or say, listen, this is our recommendation and we mean it. If you take this step first, it's going to work. But I'm just not going to be a part of the thing that blows your business up. And I see you do that with people's lives. We do it with businesses, and I know it's connected.
Yeah.
But what you do is really meaningful. When I've had to call you for a clean before. Mike, I know you could do this, but this is really where you need to be looking. This is why you need to look there. And this is what you're risking if you don't. That is a skill and a talent. You have both, and you have developed the skill, and I admire that greatly about you.
It's cool of you to say. I appreciate that.
It's what T5 embodies, and I mean it.
Yeah. It's I guess we can pivot here. I go back to those two things of doing your job and do the right thing because I see every single day people that aren't, right? We in our business, we do a lot of volume, right? We could bring 50 new clients on a month. And it still shocks me how many coverage changes we make and how many recommendations we make to people that are out there that don't know what's not protected, what their gaps in coverage are. Gaps in coverage referring to they don't have something that they need or they should have or they should at least be offered, right? Don't know the difference of what it could cost them that's so minuscule that could change their life.
Yeah.
Change their life in the event of a claim. Nobody wants to have an insurance claim, but it's either inevitable if you're driving on the road, right? Or something goes wrong at your house or something goes wrong with your business and all those things. And like, we've taken the approach and we've learned to take the approach through the 3.5 years of business of, no, we're going to do, I referred to it as the cheese pizza thing. And I did this presentation in our networking group yesterday of you can get the cheese pizza, but the meat lover is only going to cost you a few bucks more, and you're going to be more satisfied at the end of the day, right? And we refer to our policies and our offering as meat lovers because we at least want to offer you, Mike, what we know that you think. I tell everybody when we do our video proposals, we set these up like it's our own house. We set these up like it's our own business, and then it's up to us to have that conversation of what you're willing to take off, what you're willing to not, go forward or whatever. But I'm going to give you that meat lovers every single time, so in return, man, they're really looking out for me and doing the right thing in the event something does happen.
I don't think people realize how scary life can be. I know this is about business, but the businesses that we're in touch this a lot, right? When something goes wrong, you usually didn't plan it. Right? Yeah. Otherwise, you don't call it an accident or going wrong. You're like, oh, I messed up.
Yeah.
Well, when you're in those moments where it is an accident or it went wrong, the only thing you think about is whether you bought the meat lover's pizza or the cheese.
Yep.
That's when it hits you.
I say it every single day when I talk to new clients. What is this? What is this? What is this on the proposal? Great, Mr. Smith. Let me walk you through it. I start by saying, these are the coverages and endorsements that you may not think you need until you need them. And then it's too late to go buy it. Right? That's how it works. When you buy a policy, you can't say, my roof just collapsed. Can I add an endorsement for that? You can't say, do I have that water backup coverage because I have water in my basement and my furnace is shot? did I add that or not? I want to add it. No, not how this works, right? That's why we take that approach of planning for the inevitable, which hopefully won't be inevitable, but who knows? Planning for that what if. That's our job, and that's why we take that approach.
See, I love that. When I moved back to this area, I said to Steve, walk me through the homeowner's insurance policy process, because I had been in rental spaces before. And there were things that, and I really want to speak to people that feel like they're pretty bright, because I meet a lot of bright people. Like, intelligence has been such a weird conversation in this country. There are a lot of really bright people out there, and I think everybody thinks it's rare. People are smart. So if you're a smart listener, something that I felt when I was listening to you talk was like, well, before I got in the call, I'm like, how much could this guy know that I can't figure out myself? The DIY. And I've worked in reinsurance, so I grew up in an insurance household. One of the best feelings on earth is when you get on the phone with somebody and they're not only bright, but within like 5 minutes, maybe even less, they've said something to you that shows you that they've applied their brightness with the pressure and the time to make the diamond. And even though, yeah, you could do that, you don't have to, because they already presented it to you in such a simple way that you just go, oh, this guy knows what I need him to know. That's it. I'm not asking him to go and build me a rocket ship. Yeah. And maybe he could. Like, you're bright, so maybe you could. But my point is, that's not what I'm asking. Within like 3 minutes of talking to you, I'm like, I don't have to worry about this. You know all the questions I'm going to ask. You know all the answers to them, the intricacies, and you know a whole bunch of things I don't know. Because I asked, what did I not ask? And you had answers.
Yeah. You would be amazed, and I've been in the industry for 9.5 years. Man, that makes me feel like an old man. I used to say like 2 years. So that was a lot better. Jesus. You'd be amazed daily the amount of people that have a lot of money, that are very successful, CEOs of businesses, you name it, successful people that are out there running around with state minimum auto liability limits, right? And you tell them, Mr. Jones, do you realize if you get into an accident right now, the only coverage you have is $10,000? Let me paint that picture. If you get into an accident and you're at fault, and Mike's driving a $90,000 Cadillac Escalade, which these days is on the low side, okay? Let's call it a $120,000 Cadillac Escalade, and I'm at fault, the insurance company is going to pay $10,000. You and I went to grade school together. You know I'm not the brightest kid, tool in the shed when it comes to math, but if I do my math, you're about $110,000 short. Where does that come from? Your pocket. Garnishing your wages. These are things that happen every single day that you could pay $100 a year more, $150 a year more to have $1 million in coverage, to have an umbrella, all those things we talk about. This is not an insurance podcast, but to have that coverage, that peace of mind. And to the point of where we've gotten to for this conversation, for me to say, Mr. Smith, let me just point this out to you. 100% of the time, I had no idea. Because I called the 1-800 number. They told me I had coverage. And when I went to the dealership, I handed them my insurance card and they said, you got insurance? Check. You got the bank check? Check. Enjoy your new ride. And they never took the time to sit down with somebody who knows the business and has their best interests in mind. And those are the people that we do very well with. And we see that monthly. We see when we break it down of where did we get this customer from, where was it ever, the amount of people that are uneducated. And that's why we try to take that educational approach with the marketing or just the messaging of, hey, we're not here just trying to sell you a policy. We want to make sure you're good. And I tell people all the time, the last conversation, and I will take this to my grave, that I will never have this conversation. I will never have this conversation of, Mike, that could have been covered, but I never offered it to you. Now, let me put in a legal caveat here. There are things in the insurance world that are not covered because they're not covered. Stephen Turnbull can't change that. But we will do our job to offer everything we possibly can so that when you make that call that I got 45 minutes ago, that I just rear-ended somebody, what do? I don't have to get worried about, Is there coverage on that? What is this? You don't have to get worried about that because you know the approach that we've taken to truly sit down, understand your risk, educate you on your options, and do our job to protect you. Sound familiar? Is done in there.
I like that. I think, you know what I didn't realize? How much do you value keeping things simple now versus when you were 18?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What's the difference? How did you think about what simple meant at 18 versus what simple means to you now?
In what way?
I think especially applied to business or things that you're trying to do when you're organizing your life.
You don't know what you don't know when you're 18. That's the problem. Life is quite simple if you think of it in that regard. Go back to doing your job, doing the right thing. But I think about this will be in my book someday because how many times have I said it sitting in this chair? But you talk about like the college world of the big bad working world and everything you need to know and the way you need to behave and the way you need to shake a hand, the way you need to look in people's eyes and all that crap comes down to doing your job, doing the right thing. Maybe that'll be the name of the book. Who knows? But you don't know what you don't know when you're 18 of what the working world looks like. What are my next steps going to be? Like you said, I'm going to go work in this hedge fund. That's where I'm going to be until you had the aha moment, the light bulb moment that this isn't it, right? But the simplification, I think, comes down from your experiences. Yes. I talked to this about a gentleman I had coffee with this morning. Every single person in their life has had a shitty experience, probably multiple. What could that be? Divorce, getting fired from a job. Let's talk about high-end stuff, okay? Divorce, getting fired from a job, losing a loved one, whatever it might be. All of these experiences have built you into the person that you are today. So at the ripe age of 30, I'm younger than Mike, and 31, there have been experiences through our life that have led us to the table, that have led us to working together, that led us to working in our similar businesses, or not similar businesses, in our respective businesses separately, that have brought us to where we are today. Now, the cool thing about that is there's going to be experiences that I experience tomorrow that I'll put on my life the next day, right? That mind shift for me, I never thought about. And I've gone through some shit. You know, I was supposed to be in the family business my entire life. That didn't work out. And I'm out my own owner, and I'm a new dad and a husband and all of these things. But every path that has gotten me there has taught me something. And I think the people that fall from this concept think of it as, why is this happening to me? And not, what is this trying to teach me and what can I take from this to move forward? That's the biggest difference.
There's so many things that you said that I like. We really should do these every so often. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that I want to ask you, and I've learned a lot from you, but I'm going to sum this up. Maybe you don't know this, but this is how I see you and how I see a lot of people seeing you. When I'm going to go a little earlier, maybe like 13, 14, there were these parents in the community. And as a guy, especially these dads that just knew the answer. My dad is one of those guys. He just knew the answer. And when I got to be like 18 until I was like 25, I thought I was this smart guy because I went, oh, there wasn't one answer. There was a million. And he answered so confidently. Like he only knew the right one. Mm. And then another 5 years went by. And now my wife is pregnant and we own a home. And I'm looking at all these responsibilities in my life. And I went, oh, that's what smart and simple really means. Mm. When there are multiple answers that can work, that really great parent, dad, just knows how to do it guy, just goes, it's this, Mike. You could do plus minus a little bit on both sides. It's this. You keep thinking about it, and all your options are going to zero, and you're going to be miserable, and you're going to start dropping your responsibilities everywhere else. So it's this. Is it perfect? No. Is it supposed to be? No. Is it going to work? Yes. Have faith. Keep going. And every time that I've spoken with you, whether it's about business, whether it's about family advice, whether it's been about insurance, you always go, Mike, it's just this. It's just this. Mm-hmm. And I hear you rip on yourself all the time. You go, oh, I was low in our high school class. I was, I did this. I'm not the smartest guy at the table. That's not true.
Don't get me started about high school, Mike.
No.
You got to poke the bear,
It's more than that. It's what I'm saying is that's not true. Mm. What people think is smart is when you start complex And when people think, or I hear them talk about is not smart as when you start simple. But what I realize is there's just two different types of minds. Some people start really complex with lots of info, and they have to work to get to simple. I'm one of those guys. I see a million things, and it's hard for me to figure out, so what do I do then? And then I see other guys, and I see you as this, as you find the simplest answer, and then you add to it until it reaches what you need.
You just read my mind. I was going to say that. Two things I want to say on this, and then I don't know if you can see this, but the amount that we're the amount that we're over time is ridiculous.
Yes.
So we have to wrap this up. Number one, the power is your dad always had the answer. The power is taking what your dad's answer is and making it your own.
Yes.
That's the power, is taking 3, 4, 5 people. They always say that, you're a sum of the 5 people in the room that you're with and the 5 people that you hang out with and all that. I'm a firm believer in that. But if I look back at some of the relationships I have in different perspectives, professional, personal, and all of that, I take what I like from Mike. I take what I like from Bob. I take what I like from Kevin, and I make it my own. And that's what the difference is. The second thing I want to talk about, and this is going way back, but I've had it in my mind that I have to get it out. With entrepreneurship, with life, with all of that, and I appreciate you saying that about me, it comes down to whoever takes the action the quickest. Just do the damn thing and figure it out. Have I got myself in trouble doing that? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you'll learn from that of how to do it differently when you do it the quickest. Take the damn action and do it. Yep. And caveat to that is everybody bets on themselves when they start a business. They start a life, they start a new job, and then what happens? You get comfortable. And you look at taking this risk with marketing. You look at hiring that next employee, and you got the money in the bank, and you're comfortable. And you say, I don't know if I can take that risk. Well, why the hell not? Because you just took the risk to start the business. You just took the risk to have that new job, to work for that promotion, whatever it is. And I think that's such an interesting mind shift of, no, I took this risk and it got me here. I started with this new company and now they want me to have that promotion. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I can take on that role. Well, you took the risk when you walked in the door, day one at the company. Why aren't you taking the risk to do the promotion? Why aren't you accepting the promotion to go forward? Even though if you feel like you're not qualified, all of these things. Like, continuous to remind yourself of the history of what got you to where you are today and replaying that and making it different, in my opinion, is the key.
I'm going to go back to where we started on this whole thing. You're like, what was most surprising to you? What's been so shocking in your life? When I talked about those chapters, and I don't push faith on people, but I talk about it because it's true to me. And I believe it's true. I thought I was the author of the chapters. What's the responsibility of the main character in a movie or a book? It's not to write the chapters. That's what all the books are talking about now, and entrepreneurship and all these self-help. You write the chapters. No. The main character, funny enough, the main character's job is to learn, to go through things and learn. Every story has the main character that basically just gets his or her butt kicked because they learned. And once they've learned, they get up, and what does everybody want at the end of a movie or a book? Triumphant. That's your job.
Yeah, that's
you don't write the chapters. Wake up, do your job, do it well, learn. That's it. It's all you have to do. I promise you the chapters that are written for you will be amazing. That was the biggest shock of my life.
Got to wrap it up. Hey, if you made it this far to the longest episode of the Make an Impact podcast, we appreciate you being here. I just want to make a comment. I was thinking about this morning, Mike. We're 15 episodes. This will be 15 or 16, I think.
17.
17.
This will be number 18.
You can see who actually runs the show here. Just thank you so much for being here. This has been such an incredible ride. It's been fun. We're starting to get some momentum, but like I think about, and by the way, and Mike will probably laugh at this because I listen back to every single episode. I listen back to every single clip, and I usually text Mike of, hey, can we fix this? Can we get this? And it probably drives him nuts.
That's true.
But I think back of like every conversation that I've listened back to and like, man, the stories that have been, if maybe you're watching this for the first time, go back and start at one. Cause like the people that have sat in that seat and the conversations that we've had laughter, we've had tears, we've had just reflection on how far someone's come or where they want to go and how they want to get there. And then, you guys don't see it, but when the cameras go off and we're like, good Lord, that was good. Like, and the connections and everything, like that's the point of this. That's the point of this. And it wouldn't be possible without you. And I appreciate you being on the team. Everybody, that's another episode of the Make an Impact podcast. Thanks for being here. Until next time, go out there, lead with purpose, and make an impact in someone's life today. My name's Stephen Turnbull. My man, Michael Taft. We'll see you next week. Take care.